Are you ready there, Michael? Yes. All right. It's okay, I understood perfectly. We're going to borrow the Spark gavel here. How come I don't have one of these for COMPOC?
Because we know better.
We can look into that for you, sir.
So I'm sure that you didn't want to be here as a representative next year. We're going to send RJ next time, right? Okay, we're going to call this meeting of, I was going to say something, but I won't. Fun, how's that sound? Together. And please call the roll.
Mayor Minto.
I'm here.
City Manager Marlene Best.
Present.
Sheriff's Department Captain Hernandez.
Present.
Santee Chamber of Commerce Kristen Dare.
Present.
Institute of Public Strategies David Shorey.
Here.
CASA Rebecca Brandsetter. Here. Linda Roach.
Here.
Jeanette McLagan.
Here.
And Mike Aiken.
Here.
We do have a quorum, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Before we get started, Rebecca, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and the colleague that's with you here today.
Thank you, Mayor Minto. My name is Rebecca Brandstetter. I am a public health advocate with CASA, which stands for Community Action Service Advocacy. I've been with CASA for, 3 years now, and I'm representing CASA for today. We're still working out our personnel issue on that one, but I'm delighted to have with me my colleague Samantha Cruz, who is a new public health advocate and public policy specialist. And so I'm just delighted to be here. Thank you so much for the kind invitation.
You're welcome, and thank you for being here, Samantha. Appreciate it. All right, then. Let's go ahead and get to the item number 2, which is approval of the June 10, 2024 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
Who was that? I didn't catch it.
Me.
I'll
All right.
second.
I have a motion and a second, and did you get the second on that one also? Thank you. Please call the roll for vote.
Mayor Minto.
Yes.
Ms. Best.
Yes.
Captain Hernandez.
Yes.
Ms. Dare.
Yes.
Mr. Shorey.
Yes.
Ms. Brandsetter. Ms. Roach.
Yes.
Ms. McLagan.
Yes.
Mr. Aiken.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously with members present.
Thank you. Item number 3 is updates on Neighborhood Watch and crime prevention. Jacob?
Good afternoon, everybody. Recently, we were able to conduct a personal safety and stranger danger presentation at the Santee Library for some kiddos and their families. We also followed up that with the following day with a fraud presentation for our Santee seniors group here at City Hall. We were able to provide 2 active shooter trainings here in the chambers with my counterpart, Deputy Vizdak. And most recently, we were able to see some of you there. We had our National Night Out event last Tuesday at the YMCA, which I think went pretty well considering it was a new venue. We had a lot of our specialized units and decent show of attendance.
Great, thanks. You know what? In a little while, we're probably going to be discussing future topics. And I think that maybe an active shooter topic would be really interesting for people to see.
Good idea.
How it's, developed over the years, maybe what brought it up. Especially if somebody sees the scenario or the practice, they might not really understand. And so I think that'd be a really cool topic. So we'll put that on the list if you guys don't mind. Great, thank you very much, appreciate it. Anything else, JJ or Captain?
No.
Okay. And so that's a great segue into workshop on future agenda topics and presentations. So this is something we try and do about this time of year. What I like to do is have everybody that's been around, especially for a while, think about maybe some of the topics that we have talked about over the years that maybe it's time to bring them back. Maybe it's time to get an update on what has gone on with whatever that topic was that we discussed or got a presentation on. maybe 2-3 years ago, because those are always good to get updates on. So does anybody want to go first on that? Michael?
I know we've done the point and count. People have come before, but I'd be interested in seeing maybe from the sheriff's department on their homeless HOPE team. Is it HOPE? Is that the right acronym?
Heart. Yeah. Hope for the county, heart for us.
HEART for the homeless response team. I'd like to, as we're getting closer to fire season, I know just this last week I saw a guy carrying what looked like a big propane tank down into the riverbed, and already twice today I've got alerts on my phone about fires in the area. Not so much Santee, but so we're getting into fire season, and I'd be interested to see what the enforcement posture is of our team down there and how we can support them.
Well, as a follow-up, Captain, have we had our meetings yet on procedures going forward to deal with, the unhoused people as far as, the executive order from the state and the SCOTUS rulings?
Yes, sir. We actually had a meeting with the city manager, the city attorney, our team, and our legal team, our legal advisors for our department. And it was a really productive meeting. We talked about all sorts of topics, including the riverbed, enforcement out here on the city streets and the shopping centers. And we came up with really good solutions, and also being able to recognize when to have that compassion, when to offer resources, when to move them along immediately, when to give them a little bit of time. So it was actually very productive. And we're also waiting for guidelines from our department that will be implemented countywide as well.
That was going to be my follow-up. I'm sure we're still waiting for those guidelines.
Yes.
That may be a good topic to bring up also and discuss, because I think we're all interested in the entire comprehensive approach to that. Like you mentioned, everything from the compassion to the, okay, it's time to take care of legal business. So I think that'd be a really good one.
Yes, and we're also planning on meeting with property managers for all the different shopping centers, so we can be on the same page with the trespass letter, what our limitations are, what our capabilities are with that, to ensure that they're up to date and legal, because we noticed that some of them, for example, had been submitted by employees that don't have decision-making capabilities. And so that'll present a problem if an arrest goes wrong. So we want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
All right, sounds good.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
combined with that, if we're going to be talking about homelessness issues and our responses, would you like to see if one of our city staff could give a presentation coordinated with the sheriff's department about how they work together on the encampment cleanup issues down in the riverbed?
Yeah.
I mean, we could do that as one presentation if the captain is supportive of that.
That sounds good, yeah. Okay. Anybody else? David?
A couple of items come to mind. One is, you may be aware, but there is a overdose spike in an area just south of Santee, basically the Santee-El Cajon border. I'm not sure if folks were aware of that. We were approached by the county, it was mainly with the unhoused population, but also extended out further in the community. And so I'm wondering if the committee would be interested in maybe a presentation on fentanyl, how to use naloxone, Narcan, that kind of a thing as an informational activity. Also, and I'd like to actually see this on a kind of regular basis, but if we could do a annual crime statistics update, just so we know kind of what the, maybe some hot spots, maybe some understanding of trends. Not that, I think that's too big of an issue, but it's crime that happens, and we want to know about it. We are in and continue to be in fire season, and so I'm wondering if there's a presentation that could be done about some simple updates on how to, prepare your house for fire, and/or kind of the crossover and interaction between our sheriff's deputy, public response to fires, understanding how that works, and you hear about evacuations and evacuation orders. What does that entail, and what kind of the authority around that? And then lastly, we're also entering into an election season, if you hadn't heard. And I know that in past there have been protests and actions that have taken place, and it might be interesting to hear kind of the, aspect of free speech and legal role around, or, what if someone is exercising free speech, what are their limitations? What can they do? Kind of just a primer on, what, if you're in a situation where you're dealing with a protest, what's the line in terms of them going over it, and what do you do to react to that? Who can you alert? All that kind of thing.
Okay, good ones. Yep, we'll probably have to, we'll coordinate that one specifically with the attorney's office.
Yeah.
So, anybody else? Yeah.
I would like to suggest that we do a presentation on the San Diego County Care Courts.
Oh,
That service is countywide, and it's voluntary. And I know I have a connection at the Legal Aid Society that comes out and does a very nice presentation on the care courts. I think that the people in Santee would be very interested in knowing that there are those opportunities for their family members, that the police don't need to be involved, that they can make those referrals themselves. And so if you'd like to do that, I can leave the contact information. Also, when we're thinking about resources, we've got the 211 and the Access and Crisis Line, and I think that people really don't understand everything that 211 does, all of the calls and services that they provide. A lot of people just think, oh, this is the number you call if you have a mental health problem or a substance use disorder, and it's so beyond that, so that might be helpful. And then I'm also interested with SB 43, if there's any movement on that, any talk about that, where the Sheriff's Department might be on. I know a lot of communities have kind of put this hold button on that, so I don't know if there's any update on that.
well, it's interesting you brought that up because Marlene and I actually just got a report on a lot of these things and all the funding coming for SB 43 and a whole variety of other things. And so as we move forward, it may be good to have somebody, we got that from the governor's office, actually. And there was a lot of discussion about when the deadlines are for implementing a lot of this. And a lot of places, our county being one, is a little bit behind still.
Way behind.
So I was being kind.
Yes, I'm a citizen at large.
So that would be good to maybe get, we could, maybe share that in some way with the presentation, especially if we can get them to implement something and create the proper guidelines. So it might help to hurry them along a little bit. Who knows? So, something I was thinking of is every March, our schools, and they don't come as often as they used to our meetings, but every March they're required to update their school safety plans. So it may be kind of nice to hear in a later meeting, maybe March or April, what the updates are on our school district and their school safety plans. And they're required to do that every year by law. So been a while since we've talked about that.
I think high school starts back tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah, they're not required to have it before the beginning of school, just every March. I don't know how they came up with that date, but it happened long before any of us got here. So, you get most of that so far? Okay, great. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Review on the Red Book
Yeah,
for the two high schools. I don't know if it's the same for the elementary schools.
it is for
But-
every,
And we talked about, like specifically like SROs and their roles and capacities on the high schools and kind of where the funding even was coming from at the time. So I think that's usually of interest to people as well.
yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know what made me think about it, but I thought, boy, it sure has been a long time since we've got an update on any of that. So, all right, so we'll throw that in there. Is that it, or?
The only other thing I was thinking of, I was in Mary's Donut Shop this morning. Speaking of teenagers going back to high school tomorrow, I had a sleepover for like the last hoorah of summer at my house. And I was grabbing Mary's Donuts and saw SDPD in there. And it always kind of makes me think when I see outside agencies in town that the reason they're normally in town is because they're doing transports to Las Colinas. And even just, I think, an update on the Las Colinas facility. I think it's so unique to have the women's detention facility here in town. And because there aren't a lot of facilities like that in the county, maybe talking about what that means for outside agencies coming in and what like the protocols and procedures are, what kind of rehabilitation programs are currently being provided at the facility, and I don't know, maybe just like a more in-depth look at it, because I think there's a little bit of, I don't want to say there's secrecy around it, but I think that there's not a lot of light shed on how much actually takes place within the walls of the campus. So just a thought.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Oh, by the way, there is an unwritten rule that if somebody from San Diego PD does a transport, they have to come back with donuts for the whole squad.
Yeah, the jokes write themselves.
Pretty much, yes.
I thought if a member of this board was at Mary's Donuts this morning, they were supposed to bring donuts here.
I'm not opposed to having a rule like that.
Add it to the minutes, please. Can we write that down?
My waste and my sugar level, thank you for not bringing it.
Although,
I was going to say, if you guys would like a tour of Las
Mary's?
Colinas, I can probably contact the captain there, and we can make it happen. So
no.
it's up
Yeah,
to
I
you
was
guys.
going to ask that.
Okay,
I
we can
went
reach
to-
out.
I went on a tour about a year ago. It's very impressive. The training that they do for the incarcerated folks there is really amazing, and it extends out into the community. So, yeah. The other idea of a presentation is the Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team, which has some tangential effects around here with, folks who may go hiking and get injured or lost. But it's actually, I think, a hidden gem of the Sheriff's Department.
That's a good one, yeah. Anything else?
And then you just made me kind of think, David, also, I know that the fire department just got, I don't know what the name of it, it's like one of those AmCan vehicles, and I think that they're finally looking, they had displayed it at the street fair back in May, but I think they finally are kind of getting to where they're activating a plan on how to mobilize it in certain situations, and I don't know what those situations are because it's new to the department. So if anything with fire gets implemented, maybe just that as like a tack on to the fire department, kind of discussing new opportunities that are coming out from having that additional equipment on within their assets.
Okay, great. Linda, anything for us? Okay.
I think you've got sufficient topics to cover almost the rest of the year.
Well, the good part is, though, that a lot of these things, when we do them, as most of you know, is they always generate ideas on other things once we start hearing about them and whatnot. So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Sorry, are you
No.
still taking
I'm still,
ideas?
yeah.
A couple of things that don't necessarily always come to people's, the forefront when you're thinking about public safety, but we have a national bike route through the city of Santee. We have a lot of bike trails. We have a lot of people who ride bikes locally, and there's a big push regionally to ride bikes more. It might be interesting for this committee to see a little bit about the city's long-term bicycle master plan. What are we planning on doing with that? How does that fit with the trail system? What are we doing to keep that safe? What's the expansion of it? Because a lot of our homeless in the riverbed ride bicycles, and they take them everywhere, and how does that fit in or not fit in? That might be a topic. I don't know if people are interested in that. But most of what we have here is Sheriff's Department and Fire. I'm looking to see, there's a lot of other issues that create safety in our community. And, you know, some of these other topics might be things that would get a larger audience who want to listen, maybe get the school district back involved on a higher level. So I would just offer that as a thought.
Okay. Actually, I kind of like that one, since biking is near and dear to me.
Which also made me think of, have we ever had code enforcement come and present? Yeah.
I can't remember. It's been, if they have, it's been a very long time. And we could probably dial down on that into what their, basically their, you know, job is, what they're looking at, you know, compliance versus, you know, citing or whatever.
Yeah, because it does affect public safety and public health.
Yeah, I think Mike Brogdon might have done a presentation on that a few years back.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
a long
it's been a while.
time.
Since we're being televised.
Good idea.
If the community is interested in seeing a presentation on a particular topic, who should they contact?
They can contact either the clerk's office to James Jeffries, or they can contact me at the city manager's office. We'll coordinate and add other items to the list. If there's anybody at home who thinks about something that affects safety in the city of Santee and you'd like to hear more about that.
Thank you.
And they can always send in an email to us also. Just go to the website, cityofsantee.ca.gov, and you know, send it to, you know, like Marlene said. If you want to send it to me or one of the other council members, they'll also pass it along.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate that. You know, obviously, it's not just about what we think, but there's a lot of people out there probably going, you know, I wonder why they're painting the street and they haven't fixed it yet. Just saying. That's a sore subject with me. I just had to say it. So, okay. Well, I think that's pretty good. A pretty good start. So, thank you everybody for your input. And so, let's go ahead and move on then. And item number 5, which is our DEI issue, item. And did we have a video to show on that one? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we were given a video. It's testimonial of people that attended the community event. Unfortunately, special event staff couldn't be here today, but I do have the video testimonial for the committee.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it.
I love the people. It's a safe community.
I love Santee because we moved here from a very congested area to Santee 30-something years ago, and it still has that small town feel. And there's a lot of places to where we can take our dogs for a walk, we can go running, we can go biking, we can go hiking. It's a great place to be.
I go Santee, I go El Cajon and La Mesa and downtown.
Like Santee Lakes?
I love Santee Lakes too.
I love Santee because we have the best events in San Diego.
I love Santee because the staff that works for Santee is dedicated, hardworking, and always does an awesome job.
I love Santee because it is has a small town feel, but with great community.
My favorite thing about Santee is the people and community events like today, senior events that I go to, and I love my exercise classes with Daphne on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Min favoritsak om Santee är att man är alltid välkommen. Och jag älskar Santee för att människorna är så vänliga.
My favorite thing is, one of them is Raising Cane's.
My favorite thing about Santee is pathways. I like Mass Park. My favorite thing about Santee is the events.
My favorite thing about Santee is the amount of parks that we have.
My favorite thing about Santee is the abundance of nature to play around in with animals and friends.
My favorite thing about Santee is the community and the fact that anywhere you go, you can always see a friendly, familiar face.
My favorite thing about Santee is having two little girls, 4 and 2, is just how family friendly it is, and they do community events like this, and it's a great place to have a family.
The core community value of respect means to me is whenever you see someone struggling, you're helping them with a lending hand.
So I think the core community value of community mindedness is kind of like right at the crux of why I love Santee. I've lived here since 1982, and what I found is the community is diverse, but it also will come together when times are needed.
I certainly think that accountability is very important in laying the foundation for a community. It's important for individuals to understand their own responsibility and the outcomes and the actions and the words that they use.
I'm with Kiwanis in the Chamber of Commerce and with Rotary, and we've been working with the city. It's just amazing what people do to help each other, especially like events like this.
I am so happy that I live in Santee and that we have all of these special events and that we bring our community together.
Remind me to get autographs later. Well, that was actually quite nice. Be interesting. We do the next one, and see. Well, let's see if we can get some different people to speak, so that we get different opinions, and then maybe one or two of the people that, if you're there, spoke last time, so that you could tell us what's changed, if anything.
Where was that? What event was that filmed at?
That was our community event that was at the Santee Historical Association, where the old barn is that day. We did that. Yeah. I thought it was pretty interesting how they were able to pull everybody out of that and put a different background behind them, clean it up a little bit. So, gosh, technology. It's fantastic. Anything else on that?
Just a follow-up on the DEI stuff, the DEI work. I recently got the city's newsletter. Now I'm trying to remember the name of it. But I was just wondering.
Do more download?
Yes, do more download. Thank you. I know that we had talked about incorporating the community values, rolling out a plan for getting that distributed in the community. And I don't mean to beat a horse that's still riding, but I noticed it wasn't in that. And if we could, if there could be like an update on what we're doing to get those values out into the community. It just seemed like a missed opportunity to do that. No, not blaming anyone, just an observation.
Anything? Linda?
I just wanted to echo what David had said, that I think the more we are able to reinforce these community core values in our publications, in our outreach, and our newsletters, it will eventually permeate the psyche of individuals and hopefully move us forward in changing that reputation of Santee. So I think it's important to keep it out there.
Great, thank you. All right, then let's move on to communication from the committee and staff members. Let's go ahead and start down here. Becca, anything for us?
I'm just trying to pay attention and take it all in. So I'll have something maybe next time.
Sounds good. Kristen?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
Anything else, Linda?
Likewise.
Jeanette? David?
Just wanted to make the committee and community aware that on August the 23rd, so not this coming Friday, but the following Friday, the Binge and Underage Drinking Initiative is sponsoring a luncheon. It's actually going to be in Mission Valley. We'll try to get one out here sometime soon. But it's focused on alcohol density and different ways of looking at it and the impact it has on communities. It's being presented by a representative from California Department of Public Health, the Centers for Disease Control, and a representative from IPS. And if folks are interested in attending, they can go to budisd.org. budisd.org. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Thanks.
Anything? Mike? Jacob? JJ? Aldo?
Got a couple things, if you don't mind, sir. Sorry about that. We did speak about tours at Las Colinas, but our station just got a little bit of a renovation back in March. So if anybody wants to tour our station, everybody's welcome. Doesn't have to be the whole group at once. Just let us know. We'll be happy to walk you through. We're very proud of it. And secondly, speaking of newsletters, our department just came up with a monthly newsletter that that'll have updates with events happening countywide, maybe updates on press releases, things that happen, or trainings, things, all sorts of stuff. And it's pushed out monthly, and I believe the link to that monthly newsletter has been added to our public safety page, right, for the city. Thank you, City Manager. And so I welcome everybody to access it on a monthly basis and see all the updates that we have. And that's all I got.
Great. Samantha, you have anything for us? Okay. James, anything? Martin?
So just to close out, one other comment that I think the community would be interested in is that the East County Homeless Task Force was trying to find a home for one of their recent meetings, and we were able to facilitate them here at the city council chambers here in Santee. And I got an email today that was very positive. The folks that came really appreciated it. And any way that we can help facilitate moving quality of life issues forward for our city, we try to do that, try to make sure we work with folks. So that was a really positive meeting in that it gave a lot of community members who are working on the same topic, just as our homeless working group meetings do, a chance to at least share information and coordinate their efforts so we're not duplicating and wasting or recycling the same things over and over, but we're moving forward on an action plan. So we're happy to report that. There is another item that you might want to be aware of as a community member here in Santee. Starting today, Congressman Issa has a staff person who is now working irregular hours, but on a every week basis, out of our community services office, Building 6 here at City Hall. So if you have any interest in wanting to speak to your congressman, that is another way we try to cooperate, provide good communication, which in the end we hope will, again, assist with safety and community quality of life here in our city. So if you are interested in speaking to Congressman Issa, there is a satellite office now here at Santee City Hall. Just let you know.
Just to follow up on that, one important part of that is his staff member that deals specifically with Veterans Affairs will be staffed here. So that'd be great. If you're one of those folks that are having issues, come on down and talk to them about what your benefits should be, could be, and what you believe they should be, and they will help do the outreach. I know they've already done that. You do have to be a member of the district, though. So just to let you know. Or they can actually get you hooked up with somebody else in another district if they need to. So, all right, I think that probably will do us. The next meeting is September 9th, 2024. It'll be right here, and we'll announce later on what that topic will be. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's call this meeting adjourned.